Wow, it is ridiculously bright outside right now. Yesterday, I tried to have a beautiful video where we showed you all the really cool things that we had set up. Then it started to downpour. And then I had a storage issue. So, yay, it's a new day, it's beautiful, it's sunny out. I left you on a crazy stormy day and now it's beautiful. But I just wanted to show you guys how much it actually rained yesterday. So I think that this is one of the drainages from our house. Not actually sure. But we have like a bit of a creek going on in our front lawn. So this whole area yesterday that I'm gonna stand in, just to show you how deep it is. This was dry, like ridiculously dry yesterday. And that's just how much water is just sitting. You can also see how much water doesn't go anywhere on our property. So we are on bedrock, basically, which means that everything just kind of sits where it is until it's either sucked up by the vegetation around it, or the wind dries it up, or anything like that. It's just kind of sitting here until nature takes its course, I guess. It is really bright out that direction. But when I left you guys, we were moving the greenhouse, and that's when my phone was like, nope, not having it. I don't want to be outside doing this crazy stuff with you guys. And we were like, hey, well, we still gotta get it done because it's springtime. We only have so much time to do this. You can see I've got some of my plants are hardening off. This one I don't have huge hopes for. He fell out of another pot while I was moving it. So we're gonna give him a shot, but most of these, you can see these are my jalapenos and the bell peppers and stuff like that that are just growing up. But when we left, we were right here moving our greenhouse out of the garage where we were doing some planting. And after we did that, we had to move a couple of extra things because this is where it was set up. This area right here. And then it blew. You can tell it's quite windy over here. So it blew into our neighbor's yard essentially, and we were like, nah, that's not gonna work for us. So instead of doing that, I may have to talk to you guys just in the greenhouse. We're behind the house right now. You can see it gets super shady in the evening. So this is not an ideal spot. This is where the future garden is gonna be. You can see a whole bunch of trees. Half knocked down tree there that I'm gonna have to deal with. And our greenhouse. This is where it ended up kind of living for right now. We are currently in the back right hand corner of our property, like up by the house. So I don't want the garden to be too far away so that I can see it actually from our bedroom at night. So if I have any pests or anything in my garden, I can tell. We also have bears in the area, so if we have any bears that are trying to go after any of my fruits or vegetables, I really want to know before I go out to go pick stuff. We'll be able to see it from here. I can also see it from my kitchen window, which is beautiful. So I can be able to say, oh, look at that. We're gonna have broccoli for dinner because I can see it from here. Oh, my neck is still sore. I'm getting over it though. It's coming along. I can move a little bit more today, which is nice. We're gonna go inside. Hopefully it won't be as windy in there. So we're inside our greenhouse now, yay! I've never had a greenhouse before. This is my first time ever working with one. So I'm kind of new to this. So if you guys see me doing anything like super crazy wrong, please let me know because I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out. And the more that you guys tell me that I'm doing wrong, the better I can do and the more I can provide a better educational service for everybody else that wants to watch my fails and flounders as this goes on. In this garden, we have our squash, which is going super duper cray cray. That's gonna go into the garden very soon. We've also got broccoli and our bunches of tomatoes. I had a bunch of these fall too while we were trying to move them over. So hopefully they recover, but we'll see. And we'll have to get some of these guys on trusses and stuff like that soon so that they have the support that they need as they grow up. And you know, we've also got our watering can and our extra dirt in here just in case we need it. This is a super cool little greenhouse setup though. It was basically free. The only thing that we kind of were charged for, I guess, for setting this up was you can see everywhere behind me and around on the greenhouse. I tuck taped it. And that's just a really strong tape so that it'll hold it together in the wind because it is quite windy here. This frame, the metal frame, is from our cottage. A couple years ago we had one of the fabric coveralls that you can see that they're like a couple $100. That was completely destroyed by the wind and the storm, and all that we've had at the cottage for the last couple of years. And it had done its job, you know, it did really great, but people were saying, all right, like, let's get rid of it, let's throw it out. It's time to replace that ugly looking thing. I was like, no, I'll take it, don't worry, we'll figure it out, we'll find something to do with it. And this is what we turned it into. We turned it into our first ever greenhouse. We used leftover thin sheeting from the construction of our house. So it's a little bit thicker. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this will help us with the amount of wind that we get here, as well as it'll help us extend our season a little bit more into the fall and maybe even into the winter. Don't quote me on that just yet, because we are just coming into spring and I have no idea what we're going to come up against. So I had to reassemble this the same way that you guys would assemble a fabric carport that you got from Canadian Tire or wherever you would get your general home outdoor equipment from. We covered it with the sheeting and then we taped it all together, and it's currently being held down by wood and cement cinder blocks that we had from holding down our giant umbrella, which I have to replace and figure that out as well. But for right now, everything has gone into our greenhouse. I had to get these plants out of the house because of all the sprouts that are coming up, so this is really great for them. They've had a couple of days to harden off outside because we've had a few really nice days. They've been able to be outdoors, and now they're living outside. So tonight is their first night that they're actually going to be outside permanently, and I am terrified. It is going to be really like we know the wildlife that we have on our property, and which is really great because we know how to prepare for it. We know what could possibly be coming and what could possibly be coming into our greenhouse at night. Still doesn't make me any less nervous. They can still absolutely come in here and tear everything up in 2 seconds. Everything is still super young, and I would be stuck at square one for all of my plants again that are out here, which would be really disappointing. That's almost 100 tomato plants and a couple of broccoli plants and like 6 squash plants that are doing super well. And I don't want to see any of my plant babies get hurt. That's not nice. So hopefully that doesn't happen. It could. Absolutely could. So we're gonna seal this place up as best we can. We've got full wood and cinder block around the outside right now. And I'm gonna close up the door with a couple extra blocks of wood so that it doesn't flail open overnight. So this area behind me is where our garden is gonna go. Currently it's all treed. I'm gonna document as much as I can for this project. Obviously we're gonna be using a little bit more heavy equipment, so it won't always be a safe opportunity, but I will be doing my best to make sure that we get it all because it's gonna be super cool. Sorry, I just noticed you can see the moon. I don't know. Can you guys see the moon? Distraction moon. We have about like 75 or so trees that we need to take out in order to get this done. And behind me here, you can see the stack of wood that we're still not allowed to burn. Yay, COVID. It is bigger than I am. Let's get a good angle here so you guys can see. This is me at my face. That's it way up there. We need to be able to burn this stuff soon, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get there. But yeah, garden's gonna start here, all the way that direction back towards the greenhouse is, it's roughly a 65-foot space. We're trying to figure it out so that we can make it work as economically as possible because there's not a whole lot of money going around these days and we're gonna need a lot of dirt. For anybody that does not believe me that we don't have a whole lot of dirt here, I'll show you my first garden that I did with a friend. He brought over some lilies for us to plant. And while we were digging the hole isn't that big. It was only about, the hole that we dug for these lilies were roughly 6 inches deep and they're roughly about 3 to 4 feet long and only about 1.5 to 2 feet wide. But the entire exterior of this little garden is all the rock that I pulled out that was just in this space. Like there's more in there. I pulled more. There's like all of the rest of it's back there that we threw aside that we didn't want to add onto it. And I was like, you know what, let's just use these rocks to build up the edge of here. But you can see all of our lilies are coming in, Jason. You can see they're there. We've got a couple more over here. Our last ones are coming in right here. And then we did a couple more on the other side. They're all doing amazing. These are gonna be some of our first flowers and they're gonna be able to spread. Hopefully we'll have this whole area down here will just be flowers. Don't tell Kevin, he's not gonna be able to mow anything anymore when I'm done with my planting. You can see all of our gorgeous lilies that are gonna come in. And they should be orange lilies, so it'll be really, really pretty out here. We'll do really good for Halloween, hopefully. You can see here, all these trees are gonna have to go out too. We have so many cedars. So this used to be an alpaca farm, and when they took everything down and turned it into developments, there's a couple of properties. We all have like decently sized acreage, which is nice. But they took it all down and they just planted cedars, and this is what we're left with. It's all gonna go. You can see where I've taken a couple of them out in here already, because in the summertime we get the higher sun in here, which is nice, but for the beginning of the year and end of the year, these guys have got to go next. So that way they at least get a little bit more sunshine. I'll have to keep that in mind too for when I'm planting in the future, so that I don't plant too close to the road. So those will be out next, and I'm hoping that my strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, all of that will continue to go that way. But let's see what else we have in here. Strawberries are still doing really good. We've seen those before. So we've got strawberries growing, raspberries growing, our blueberry plants. You know, our twigs are coming in. We don't have any buds on them yet, which is okay. Those guys love this type of soil as well as our strawberries. Is that nice, shallow, rocky, acidic. I had a spider apparently that's tried to move in on this blackberry. So gotta clean him up a little bit. Interesting, I guess, for here for right now. But we're getting to the point where our garden centers and stuff like that are going to start getting in all of their plants, and everybody, it's gonna be hard this year because growing things is such a social event. People love to see like, oh, like what have you been up to, and like what's the newest, coolest thing that you've been able to grow, and what are you gonna plant this year, where are you gonna plant it, how are you gonna plant it. This is something that people always love to just kind of sit around and chat about online or really in person. These are conversations that happen in our garden centers, which we can't go into right now. So I'm missing our garden centers. I'm sure you guys are as well. Hopefully we can get back to them as soon as possible. Just gonna close this. That's kind of our introduction to our greenhouse. We are starting out from scratch. We don't have a whole lot of resources at our disposal. So we're trying to use as much as we can that we can kind of get like sourced for free or from neighbors or friends and stuff like that for a good price. So that greenhouse is like a super win. One day my dream greenhouse would be like a triple pane, huge, and it would have like a rocket stove attached to it so that I could grow tropical plants in there all year round. That's gonna be a big project. So starting with the free one, very, very humbling, very, very exciting still. And we're on our way. We're gonna be able to grow some great things this year. So I hope you guys stick around for us to do that with you, because I'm sure you guys are growing some pretty cool things too. Let us know in the comments down below. And if you guys wanna see our garden project come together, make sure you hit that subscribe and the bell notification to be able to get our updates when we post them. We post every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. And there's always something crazy going on around here, so you never wanna miss out. So we'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine. If anybody wants to learn how to make this glorious bubbly concoction, I am more than willing to make a video on it. One of my favorite things to do, and I would love to share it with you guys. It is a hard apple cider. Came out at about 7%, so you know, enjoy with care. And they're delicious, and they glimmer so well in the sunshine. Just look at those bubbles. Beautiful, beautiful bubbles.